What's shaking, y'all? I'm Quake. Walk with me. It's February of 2017. You get off the bus after a long, exhausting day of being a middle schooler. After hopefully doing any homework that was assigned to you, you grab a device and open YouTube. Markiplier posted a new video. He was playing a very yellow little horror game called Bendy and the Machine. You hear the menacing strings and creaking boards as Markiplier almost talks over the player character as the game begins. You watch as he goes through the studio, yelling at everything in classic 2017 Markiplier fashion. Almost overnight, Bendy becomes more popular as other YouTubers play it and fall in love with its creative premise and wonderful environments. These are the days where mascot horror was in its peak, fan content was booming, and everyone was blissfully unaware of what was to come 3 years later. For those of you that are in the dark, Bendy and the Ink Machine is a horror game originally produced by the Meatly and Mike Mood, later becoming Joey Drew Studios. The game takes place in a long-abandoned animation studio where our player character used to work as the main animator. Ever since he left, his ex-business partner and old friend Joey Drew implemented quite a lot of new things into the studio, namely the Ink Machine. After many years, we come back to the studio, and that's where the game begins. I loved and still love this game so much. In this video, I'll be going through the whole game, talking about each individual chapter's story and gameplay, as well as the art direction and music, followed by some miscellaneous other thoughts I have. The recap portion will include clips of my own personal gameplay. The mic quality of the first 2.5 chapters isn't the best, but it improves about halfway through chapter 3 when I figured out how to set up my normal mic with my PS4. My game may look different to what you remember. When Chapter 4 came out, the previous chapters got a big revamp, and I got the complete game when I was able to pre-order it from GameStop. Fair warning, some of the gameplay clips contain flashing that may not be good for viewers with photosensitive issues. However, I will play this sound to signal to you that a timestamp is in this corner, so that you can still watch the video, skipping the flashing. I'll include timestamps for things like sped up footage, big jump scares, and of course, light flickering. And with that, let's begin! Chapter 1. Moving Pictures. The story starts with the player character, Henry, an animator, returning to Joey Drew Studios 30 years later after receiving a letter from Joey Drew himself. After stumbling upon the mysterious ink machine, Henry searches the studio for a way to power it on.
Bacon soup.
Got soup.
I'm just kidding.
In the break room, we find 6 podiums, each labeled with a symbol matching an item he must acquire. After placing the designated items on the podium, we locate the pressure valve and turn on the ink machine.
Pull the lever, Crunk.
The lights in the studio go out. Henry goes to the machine only to find the room has been boarded up. Getting closer, out comes...
Why'd he board up the door, though? Did he think to himself, "Oh, this is gonna be great. Especially if he wants to catch us. Like, he wants to catch us. Why did he board up the door? If he didn't board up the door, then who did? He's like, okay, I'm gonna kill this guy. But first I'm gonna scare the hell out of him."
The ink demon. The floor in front of the door gives out, sending Henry deeper into the studio, where he picks up an axe and presses on, only to have flashes of visions and pass out, ending Chapter 1.
Hey guys, I'm shaking a lot. I think my blood sugar's low. Nope. Not low blood sugar. Just a demon. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
To preface, my thoughts on Chapter 1 will cover the chapter as it is today, not what it was when it was initially released in 2017. Chapter 1 is short and sweet, having the perfect amount of world building to understand a little bit of what's going on in the studio, and enticing the player to continue searching for more. For first-time players, the jump scares are really effective, and the ambience is great. Chapter 2, The Old Song. Chapter 2 finds us waking up from our unintentional nap, grabbing the axe, and continuing through the studio.
Damn, looks like there are some dead things here. Like the light behind my eyes, or the Queen of England.
We carry on and find the ramblings of Sammy Lawrence, the composer of the cartoon's music, who seems to have lost every single one of his marbles, and has begun to worship the ink demon. Henry enters the music department, finding an exit door that's completely blocked with ink, and he now has to drain the stairwell and find 2 valves. He pulls the power lever and is ambushed by searchers, which are vaguely humanoid ink blob monsters.
Me too.
It's really dark in here.
It's funny because I have asthma.
Looks like the stairwell's flooded.
I too make ominous gasps for air. Okay. I'm gonna have to fight a horde of searchers. Fair warning. I'm really bad at combat. Forgot about that guy! No.
Continuing on, Henry explores the studio to try to find a way to drain the staircase. Playing another audio log, Henry learns of a pump switch located in Sammy Lawrence's office. Around the corner and down the hallway he goes. And, of course, Sammy's office is unfortunately blocked by an ink leak. The audio log by the door lets us know how to get in the closet, where we find another one of Sammy's logs. This log, combined with the projectionist log detailing Sammy's daily mad dash, lets us know that Henry needs to record the next song of the summer. Henry finds one of the 2 valves needed to stop the leak inside of the sanctuary, but when he leaves, he's ambushed by yet another horde of searchers, presumably led by Sammy himself. After fighting them off,
You gonna come down here and get me next?
we're able to descend into the infirmary, where the next valve is missing from the pipe. Henry goes into the sewer system? Ew! To try and find it, only to see that another searcher nabbed it. Seeing that searcher evades the axe, the only option is to crush it with a crate from the other side of the room.
Sing with you say? First one.
Sorry I had to do that. Nice hat, though.
Henry replaces the valve and stops the leak. Sammy's office is now accessible, and so is that pump switch. As Henry tries to reach the exit, he's thwarted once again.
Alright, who's ready to get knocked upside the head with a dustpan? I sure am. There we go.
Henry wakes up, restrained, with Sammy Lawrence monologuing at him with the intent to sacrifice him to the ink demon. The ink demon pulls an Uno reverse card on him, though, killing Sammy instead. Henry wiggles out of his restraints and reunites with his trusty axe, attempting once more to make his escape.
Goodbye. Good. His only weakness. Doors.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you...
Soup.
Soup.
Go through another one just to be safe.
Hello? Someone there? I know you're in here. Come out and show yourself.
Henry, you are unarmed.
Boris?
Gorsh.
After a narrow, well, escape from the ink demon, Henry stumbles upon Boris the Wolf, thus ending Chapter 2. While Chapter 2 is also quite short, it's still up there in terms of, like, favorite chapters for me. The puzzles are fun and creative, and everything is slowly coming together for the rest of the story. Learning that there really are other people still trapped here and that they've just gone crazy over time. I mean, to be fair, I would too. I enjoy the fact that while Chapter 1 really introduces us to, like, story and ambience, Chapter 2 is introducing us to, like, the puzzles and the combat and really solidifies some of the game mechanics. Chapter 3, The Rise and Fall. Chapter 3 has us waking up in a hammock in Boris's safe house. After exploring for a while, we learn that Boris is holding a lever to the exit door hostage for a soup ransom, so we feed the man.
Hey, buddy, using that lever handle around? Or holding it hostage until I make you something to eat? I thought so. Let's see what we got.
Everything.
That should be enough.
He gives us the lever, we open the door, and press onward into the darkness of the studio.
Soup.
Soup.
Yeah.
See what's out there.
We come to a locked door and Boris crawls an event to open it for us.
Another dead end. I don't see any other way through. You got any ideas, Boris?
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And with that done, we walk into the Heavenly Toys workshop and play the tape laid out for us. I changed the little ink blob to the ink machine before fixing the toy machine. Put a pin in that. It's important for later. We walk into the next room that's filled with Alice Angel merchandise, a few TVs, and a viewing window. Walking up to it, Alice's jingle starts playing and the spotlight in the window room turns on. After we get a small monologue, we get to press on. I take the path of the demon in my playthrough for the same reasons I told y'all to put a pin in the ink blob thing. I hope you brought multiple pins. We're told to meet the angel on level 9. So me and Boris followed the yellow board road to find the witch who apparently knows how to get us out of here. Throwing a lever or two here and there. Finding a weapon.
Boris? Oh, you scared me to death.
Gimme, gimme,
Don't
gimme,
suppose you found
gimme,
anything we
gimme,
can use to
gimme,
protect
gimme,
ourselves
gimme,
with?
gimme.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
And oh hey, a conveniently placed elevator.
You're so interesting. So different. I have to say, I'm an instant fan. Looks
We go to level 9 and see Alice Angel torturing a piper. Fun.
It seems that I am interrupting something.
She tells us to do tasks for her and she'll let us leave. We don't really have much of a choice though, so we agree.
turn to the lift, my little errand boy. We have work to do.
Do I get health care?
And we're off on our way to do our first task. I'm not gonna sit here and bore you with every task. Just know that it follows a formula. Get thing. Ink demon spawns. Hide from ink demon. Go back to Alice. Rinse and repeat. Our final task, however, has us being sent down to level 14 to gather 5 ink hearts for Alice to consume. In most playthroughs, Alice will pretend as if she's sending you down there with a Tommy gun, only for the gun to dissolve in our hands. However, remember those pins from earlier? If you change the blob to the ink machine and take the path of the demon and don't die throughout the entire chapter, you get the gun.
Take the lift down. Say hello to an old friend.
Can I say hello to him
Sending
with
you a little present.
bullets, perhaps?
A little firepower.
Can I?
Take good care of it. It belonged to someone very special.
Let's go! I got the gun.
A few moments later.
We go down to level 14. Normally you'd need to avoid the light of the projectionist, the enemy of this area, who's deaf with a projector for a head, and can take you down in like 1 or 2 hits, and hide in the little miracle stations to avoid having to restart the maze. But again, I got firepower.
I'm really bad aim, I'm really bad aim, I'm really bad aim.
Get good. So I just straight up, how you say, pumped him full of lead. Lead. Like graphite. The art medium. Like ink. And got the hearts no problem. Alice directs us to the elevator to ascend and leave, only to drop us like we didn't just do all her chores for her. It's okay though, because she's a beautiful woman and can do no wrong. Evil? I don't know what you're talking about. God forbid a woman do anything. She wanted our Boris. She wanted to consume him. Because he's a perfect Boris. She took my freaking dog, man.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! Michael! Help me!
And that's where chapter 3 ends. I'm not here to lie to y'all, I dread this chapter every time I play the game. I'm incredibly jumpy, and knowing the ink demon can spawn basically anywhere in the map at any time skyrockets the anxiety. Chapter 3, in my opinion, is the scariest chapter. The uncertainty of where and when he'll appear, knowing we can't just hide the entire time, and the fetch quests, terrifying. Not to mention that the elevator is unreliable and sometimes just leaves at the worst time when you're trying to escape the ink demon. The fetch quests themselves are tedious sometimes, but not completely unbearable. Level P in particular, the quest where you go turn the valves and get the power cores, makes me so anxious. The squeaking is so loud. But if you're like me and just really, really, really want to avoid the ink demon, he's on a timer. He spawns about every 2 to 3 minutes. So if you have that timer and you know the spots where the game will spawn him, it makes it a little bit easier. I use that every single time I play through it because I'm a coward. Chapter 4, Colossal Wonders. We wake up after blacking out, I'm starting to sense a pattern here, and immediately get back to it with new resolve to rescue Boris, opening doors and finding secrets. We enter what looks like a library with a bunch of inky figures all posing around a statue. Damn theater kids being dramatic. Eventually, we figure out that in order to open the door to progress, we need to push back a bunch of books into place.
So that's how it works.
Forgot about that.
The void says hello.
We make our way over to a lift that's missing a part. We find a thick searcher production vat, or something, take a blob and put it into a little machine to get the cog. After fixing the lift, we make our way over and proceed immediately with absolutely no distractions. We have to save Boris after all. After walking through a spooky hallway with grabby hands, we find ourselves in a winding, well, it's not a stairwell or an elevator shaft, large vertical hallway, where Alice taunts us over the speakers.
Your angel is always watching. What is it that keeps you going? Is it the thrill of the hunt? The thirst for your freedom? Or perhaps you're just looking for a little friendly wolf.
Give me back my dog.
We continue.
Better hurry, errand boy. Boris is having trouble staying in one piece.
We walk into a room full of lost ones, crawl through the vents.
Me too, bud, me too.
And find a warehouse full of scrapped amusement park games and rides. We have to traverse through them to power the haunted house ride where we assume Boris is being held.
Tell me, are you having fun?
We flip a lever here and there, distracting a butcher gang member here and there, and make our way to a thrill ride. We play it safe and witness the ride come to life. There is a dude in there. There's a man in there. There's a man in that thrill ride. Okay, let's take him down. Another puzzle / fight, another door open. So at this point you're thinking to yourself, hey, we just did a boss fight in this game, how cool is that? But suddenly, it's not cool, because we're forced once again to meet the projectionist. Unarmed.
I, dun 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 dun. How did he see me? How did he see me? How did he see me?
Shouldn't have been able to see me.
We sneak around the guy, flip yet another lever, and make our way back to the scripted chase, ending in us getting into the little miracle station to hide, where Bendy shows up for some reason and just ends him. We still don't know what prompted this. Bendy, are you on our side or not?
Brutality. Yo, he
And after the whiplash, we finally get to the haunted house. After a long ride, it is revealed to us that our poor buddy got the Frankenstein treatment and we gotta put him down.
Boris! No, what has she done to you?
still has the ball.
Meet the new and improved Boris. I took what I wanted, and in return, I gave him so much more. And this time, there's no.
I wanted to keep this guy
stinks!
After an admittedly long boss battle, we succeed in taking him down.
Got him.
Our buddy. Oh hey, new Alice just dropped. Chapter 4 is fun. It took a long time on that boss fight for me, for some reason. I had some major skill issues working through that one. I was so relieved once I'd finally done it. I don't have many thoughts on Chapter 4 other than the projectionist should have been dead. I shot his ass. But yeah, no, I enjoyed Chapter 4. Chapter 5, The Last Reel. Chapter 5 begins with us waking up in a cell of sorts, listening to this new Alice humming a song. After a few rounds of waking up, talking this nice Alice, getting threatened by a new mean Boris, whose name is Tom, and getting a little exposition, Alice introduces us to the seeing tool, which lets us look at hidden messages around the studio.
Take a look. I don't know who's leaving them, but I think they know how to get out of here.
Where does it all lead to?
Nowhere.
We go back to sleep. We wake up to rumbling. Apparently the ink demon is on his way. Alice doesn't really want to leave us behind, but Tom put his hand on her shoulder like they just can't do anything. Even though our cell is made of wood and Tom has an axe. Man, he just does not like us. So after following some hidden messages, we find a gent pipe, smash the wood, and press on. We reach a little boat. There's a hidden message that says there's something in the river. That's not good. It's our only way to get out, unfortunately.
Sounds like something stuck in the paddle wheel.
After many heart attacks, we arrive at a village and walk up to a boarded doorway. Who keeps resurrecting people?
Betrayed, abandoned,
I trusted you. I gave you everything. And you left me to rot. Why? Why?
Ain't he supposed to be chasing me? Come here. Yeah, I'm cheesing it. Sue me. He's trying to push me off.
No, don't look at me. Stay away.
Oh look, his mask is standing up. How nice is that?
You lied to me. You said I'd be free.
I didn't say
I'm
anything.
going to free you now. Free your head. Sheep, sheep, sheep. It's time for sleep.
And hey, thanks, Tom. Maybe you don't hate us after all. Unfortunately, with Sammy Lawrence gone, the Searchers and Lost Ones are now free to attack us. Gauntlet time! After many deaths, we finally finish it and go onwards, where we make it to the demon's lair with absolutely nothing bad happening at all whatsoever. Just kidding! We fall through the floor into the admin office, where we have to navigate a maze to get more ink blobs to make pipes drain the ink from the way forward. I sped it up for you, you're welcome. We drain the way forward and enter the vault, looking into an empty box.
Looks like whatever was here was taken long ago.
How did you get down here?
It pays to carry a rope. You should try it.
Look, I know where we have to go, but it's not going to be pleasant. The Ink Demon has something that we need. I'm going after him.
You want to go to his lair? Are you crazy?
Yes, we've
That's
established
death.
this.
That's where the trail seems to lead.
Well, it's probably close by. Probably through that door.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you dumb.
But it won't be easy to open. I'll need 3 gears, a crowbar, some kind of counterbalance. Well, that
Thanks,
works
Tom,
too,
you're a real one.
I guess.
What comes next is another set of hallways resembling the very start of the game. We watch the ink demon trudge alongside us, and soon we make our way to the giant ink machine. Alice gives us a little pep talk, and we approach the final battle.
They could have at least given me a weapon.
The inside of the machine is lined with small chambers where ink pours and creates new Lost Ones and character clones. The hallway is dotted with levers. We press on and find a giant throne with an audio log from Joey Drew himself. As we play the audio, Joey Drew monologues about stuff, but what's important is how Bendy was there for his beginning, but never saw the end. We pick up a reel labeled The End as Bendy transforms into a beast before our eyes, swatting us into the next room as he charges from wall to wall with no clear direction, raging and throwing an inky tantrum. We throw many levers while hugging the walls to avoid his path and eventually open the way into the last phase of the boss fight, where we have to make Beast Bendy break 4 ink pipes, which somehow opens the way back into the throne room. We play the tape as Bendy reaches for us, and the screens around the room flash. The end as Bendy redirects his attention to them and is seemingly pained. He attempts to reach for us again, but is too weak. Finally, in a flash of light,
I did it! I only died like twice.
the ink demon is vanquished. And we appear in the apartment of Joey Drew. Joey greets us warmly, talking about how Henry was always pushing him to do the right thing, but should have pushed harder. It's not his responsibility to make sure you're a good person, Joey. He beckons us back to the workshop as we enter a familiar studio, and the cycle continues.
Come visit the old workshop. There's something I need to show you.
All right, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
What a crazy end of the game. It's revealed that we're in a cycle, a time loop, a time warp. That twist got me when I first saw the chapter. I did a few laps around my room. While I do think many parts of this chapter are a little longer than needed, maybe that's just because I really hate the river segment. It's a good segment. I just hate it. I'm too jumpy for this. I still enjoy playing chapter 3. Did I say 3? 5. I still enjoy playing chapter 5. Except the river thing. And the gauntlet. But mostly the river thing. I really enjoy the fact that the puzzles in the game are easy enough to figure out and execute so that I don't go insane. I'm not very bright sometimes, so the audio logs giving the player hints and information is a really great way to not only walk them through the puzzle, but to actually get them to listen to the lore and not just ignore it all the time. While the combat can be a bit clunky, but keep in mind I was playing on a PS4 and that may have been my settings, I think that from the perspective of somebody who's not a video game expert, the gameplay is really well executed. Here comes the complaint everyone has, though. Chapter 3 is a little too heavy on the fetch quests, and I think that can get really, really tedious. But the constant threat of the Ink Demon offsets that a little bit. There are 2 secret bosses, one in Chapter 2 and one in Chapter 3. While writing this script, I decided to go ahead and fight the bosses and record them myself. Here's Chapter 2's Hard Hat Searcher.
That sound right there was the boss spawning in. Yeah. First time I heard it, I thought it was coming to get me, and I got scared. But now we have to lead it back all the way to the infirmary. And running away fast enough. There it goes. Okay, come this way, sir. Yep, this way. No. Damn it! I missed.
And then I fired again, and then I missed, and then I fired, and then I fired, and I missed. I missed both times, and then I fired, and I missed.
Am I too fast for it, or is it too fast for me? I don't like you. I do not like you. Oh! Damn it! Quit being difficult. Well, that was it.
Now, Chapter 3's was a lot more of a chore.
Alright. I may or may not be Googling this. See, right behind here you can see 3 levers. It's like a searcher gauntlet. So we need to be able to get behind there, and to do that we need the axe. So, let's get the axe. In my original playthrough, I had gotten the Tommy gun, but due to needing the axe to break those down, it is impossible to use the Tommy gun during the fight. So what we need to do right here is change that to Boris instead of the ink machine. And go down the path of the angel rather than the path of the demon.
Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. Psych! That one. Boris. Boris! Boris, you... If this disqualifies me, He soft-locked me. He soft-locked me. This is enraging.
Yeah, I got so mad I couldn't do it. I know I could have possibly jumped on that barrel to get back on the stairs and hightailed it to the hidey hole, but I didn't think of that at the time. Plus, it's just kind of funnier to yell about how Boris left me to die. There's a big part of me that honestly just wishes that these bosses revealed some, like, juicy lore or just had more connection to the story, but hey, it's a cool Easter egg either way. I have nothing but praise for the art direction in this game. The textures on everything are just so good. It gives the game so much personality and really sets it apart from other games of the genre and adds so much more originality to the premise. Don't get me wrong, Bendy was one of the pioneers of mascot horror, but even today with Bendy and the Dark Revival, it still feels so much different to others and so fresh in comparison. It's so pleasing to look at. I can smell the ink fumes from the screen. I will say though, the character models in Dark Revival are a massive improvement from the original game, but that's only natural as developers continue with their progress and practice makes perfect and whatnot. All of the game's music is so good too. The ambience is wonderfully sketchy. I'll see myself out. And just the chase music. It's so good. It's so tense. It gets my heart pounding. It acts as part of the jump scare with how sudden it starts, and I love it. Lonely Angel / I'll Be Your Angel is also so pleasing to listen to. It's what you've been hearing in the background of the entire video, minus the lovely vocals. There was a fan song put into each chapter, -5. That was so cool of the devs. You can find them on the radios, the first being in that office with the music disc in Chapter 1 being Kyle Allen's Bendy and the Ink Machine, the second in Sammy Lawrence's office being DA Games' Build Our Machine, the third in the stairwell being Random Encounters Bendy and the Ink Musical, and the fourth by putting an ink blob into the machine where the bottomless pit is, being JT Music's Can't Be Erased. I admit I can't say much about music other than I like it. I have no idea how music theory works, so insert a good segue here. This section doesn't really have much cohesion. It's honestly just a little yap fest. I love the fan songs. I love them so much. I miss the fan song part of fandom. I want it to be really prevalent again. I still think it's so cool of the devs to like put fan songs in the game. My personal faves are all of DA Games' Bendy songs, especially Instruments of Cyanide, and Can't Be Erased. I love that one too. If you guys want me to make a video on Dark Revival, please let me know. Personally, I love it when people give Bendy like a tail in the fan art. I love to see it. Even though it's like it's not canon, but it's canon to me. He has a tail in my heart. Bendy and the Ink Machine is still up there with some of my favorite games of all time. I think the game is just so wonderful. I have my gripes, but they're nothing that hasn't been said before by everyone else. I'm so excited for Bendy the Cage and the movie that's going to be coming out soon too. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. As a creator, it's my obligation to ask you to like and subscribe. Please follow my other socials, Quake Arts on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. I am far more active there than on here. And if you want to see me talk about any other games or media, please tell me. I'm tempted to talk about mouthwashing or even replay Undertale for a video. I thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful day, night, whatever time you're listening to this. And if you were drawing while listening to this, hey, it looks wonderful. Keep it up. I've been Quake, and yeah. Have a wonderful night.